Hi there, welcome to Across the Balkans. I'm Omer Saraci. Great to have your company. A highly controversial migrant deal between Italy and Albania is closer to becoming reality after a series of legal and political hurdles were crossed. Last November, the two countries signed an agreement that would allow migrants rescued by Italy at sea to be transferred to Albania. There, thousands will be housed in detention centers outside of the EU's jurisdiction. Despite growing backlash from human rights groups, Italy's lower chamber of parliament and Albania's constitutional court both greenlighted the deal. Omer Saraci went to a former Albanian Navy port, which is expected to house thousands of migrants sent from Italy, to see how locals are reacting.
Ata kërkojnë që të shkojnë në Europë, po jo të vinë në burg.
Një gjë shqip, një përfiton se përfiton vetëm ai që është në qeveri, populli vdesunit.
Këta janë disa refugjat që ndrojnë Italinë dhe Evropën. Dhe ai niset për ta në Itali ose në Evropë dhe papritën të gjenden në Shëngjin, në një vend të panjohur. Dhe pastaj nga aty dhe më vonë lindin dhe do të lindin shumë probleme.
The citizens of Shëngjin are gradually adjusting to the presence of temporary foreign residents. The Albanian government is hosting 300 Afghan asylum seekers in tourist facilities who fled their country fearing prosecution. However, the current migrant count is considerably smaller than what was outlined in the protocol signed by the two prime ministers last year and certified by the Albanian Constitutional Court. This year, thousands of migrants are expected to risk their lives traveling across the Mediterranean Sea to reach Italy and the European Union. But their journey will take an unexpected turn after a protocol was signed between Italy and Albania, which will redirect them here to the small port town of Shëngjin. These buildings, which were once used by the army, will serve as reception centers for the new arrivals. Located 20 kilometers from Shëngjin is Gjadër, a former military airbase dating back to the communist era. Migrants will be confined within this camp and will not be permitted to leave until their asylum requests are assessed by the Italian authorities.
Kjo është një fushë aviacionit të rezervë që ka qenë. Do vënë gjithë kontinerët për refugjatët. Që këtu është një zonë shumë e vogël, nuk ka kapacitete, s'ka mundësi, s'ka një infrastrukturë, s'ka se ku do shkojnë ujtë e zeza, ku do shkojnë... Do të jetë një prishje këtë imazhit, një pamundësi, edhe fizike, edhe infrastrukturore. Kështu që mendoj që do jetë shumë problem.
The signing of the protocol between Prime Ministers Rama and Meloni has sparked growing backlash within both countries and further abroad. Amnesty International says the plan to establish reception centers in Albania is part of a warring plan of delegating border control and asylum processing to third countries, which many fear that could put the rights of immigrants and refugees at risk. According to Bledi Dervishaj, a constitutional lawyer, the term protocol appears to underestimate the true significance of the international agreement.
Kjo marrëveshje ndërkombëtare hyn në ato lloj marrëveshje që kanë bëjnë apo ndikojnë në territorin e Republikës së Shqipërisë, përderisa kemi vendosjen e një kuadrati brenda territorit të Republikës së Shqipërisë ku e drejta shqiptare nuk aplikohet, por për të hyrë në një marrëdhënie me një shtet tjetër do duhet të merrte edhe vullnetin e kreut shtetit përmes lëshimit të autorizimit për personin që do të negocionte në emër të Republikës së Shqipërisë dhe jo në emër të Këshillit të Ministrave.
The acknowledgement of the Italian jurisdiction creates an ambiguous situation, as legal events may initiate inside the camp and conclude outside it.
Brenda mureve apo brenda gardit, do ta themi kështu në mënyrë shqip, ku ndërvepron pala italiane, ligjet thot marrëveshja ose të zbatohet e drejta italiane. Ndërsa nëse diçka shkon përtej këtyre kufizimeve që të qendrave ku ndodhen, atëherë të hynë fuqi ligjet shqiptare. Nëse një nga prej këtyre njerëzve që do trajtohen këtu, në një moment caktuar pretendon shkelje të drejta njeriut, apo kërkesë në kuadër të kërkimit të azilit, apo kërkesë në kuadër të mbrojtjes së drejtave të tij ndërkombëtare. Kush do ta aplikojnë? Do ta marrin, do të transferohet shkelësi nga këtu edhe në Itali, tek një gjykatës italian. Kjo nuk është një marrëveshje kundër ligjeve të BE-s, por kjo është një marrëveshje jashtë ligjeve të BE-s.
Meloni calls it a very innovative, intelligent agreement, and she says that it has been received with great interest by other European partners. She emphasizes that Albania is behaving as if it is a de facto member of the European Union. But journalist Lutfi Dervishi does not perceive significant benefits from this agreement. According to him, Meloni might use it to demonstrate to the Italian public that a favorable solution to the migrant issue has been found. The Albanian state benefits from the strengthened friendship between the two prime ministers, while the fate of the migrants, on the other hand, becomes even more complicated.
I think that's an EU problem solved by non-EU member. And the decision of Constitutional Court was almost split, and that this decision shows that it is in a shaky legal ground. From the public opinion perspective, doesn't look like Albanians care much, because the propaganda and the news have been focused on they will be like, kind of an open prison.
Prime Minister Rama stated Italy wouldn't have struck this deal with any other EU country, and that the historical and cultural ties between the two nations have led to this agreement. Such transfer operations of migrants have been attempted in the past from Great Britain, which later opted to transfer them to Rwanda. As for whether this could serve as an alternative solution to respond to migration flows, only time will tell. Omer Saraci, TRT World, Tirana.
Let's cross now to Rome. Annalisa Camilli is there for us. She's a journalist who has written extensively on immigration, human rights and inequality. Annalisa, great to have you with us. Now, as I mentioned, back in November, it seemed like there will be so many legal and political obstacles for implementing this deal, but now it looks all of that has been quickly crossed.
Well, more or less, in the sense that we know that there are a lot of problems about human rights. For example, scholars have pointed out that it's practically impossible to ensure the same standard of asylum rights in Albania and in Italy. One of the points is how to choose the people who will be deported, who will be transferred to Albania. And basically, it is quite sure that the kind of reception they will receive, it will be very, very different. And that is a problem because, it's a sort of different standard of the approach. Also, there is a problem about lawyers, because if one of these asylum seekers wants to put on trial and do a sort of appeal, it would be impossible for them to hire a lawyer. Also, the question is how Italy could exercise its jurisdiction.
But let me just jump in here, if you can clarify, Annalisa. So the detention centers in Albania, they will be run by Italian officials. So that means if something happens there, where should it go? Back to Rome or back to Italy, or where?
That's the point, in the sense that in some way Tirana would effectively have to cede a portion of its territory, of its sovereignty to Rome. But it's not clear how Rome could exercise its jurisdiction to some detention center, to this true detention center that it will be run in Albania. The Italian government assured that they say that this true detention center will be controlled by Italian authorities. Therefore, these 3,000 people intercepted by Italian Navy ships or by Italian ships would be transferred in this center that will be controlled by Italy. But the experts, the scholars, they are saying that it's quite impossible to assure the same standard, and also it would be very, very difficult for Italy to control this true center in a territory that is extra-European, that it's not European.
Right, and we've seen in that Omer's story how the situation in that port city where they are expected to house migrants, a lot of things is still not ready. So as you rightly pointed, the question is, will the people who arrive in Albania be treated differently than in Italy? But why is Italian government so pushing with this deal? Hasn't been there any other option for Italy to deal with this situation than to send it to Albania and raise all these questions about the international law, the EU law, the sovereignty of Albania?
I think that the point is political. As you probably know, Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, the Italian government conducted the electoral campaign last year, saying that they will arrest the arrivals of migrants in Italy. Migration is one of the main points of their electoral program. But last year, the arrivals of migrants by sea in Italy has doubled. It raised of 50% in respect of the previous year, and the numbers arrived to 150,000 arrivals.
Right, Annalisa, so the question, my last question would be, as I don't have much time, this is a new problem, but seems to me, based on the EU officials' statements, that if the migrants are transferred to Albania, then it stops being a new problem.
Well, I don't think so. We will see, in the sense that I think that this deal will produce a lot of legal problem, international, like the one that UK has seen with Rwanda. We will see if it will run, it will works. And also, I think that for sure, European Union wants to. The thing we know is that European Union wants to do similar deals with extra European countries, and the Italy-Albania deal is an example. Is the first. Example, the first.
Are you saying this can become a trend? Are you saying this?
Exactly. We know that, for example, there are discussions with Georgia, with other extra European countries to see such a deal to build up other centers, detention centers outside Europe.
Okay.
Of course, it not solve the problem of migration in Europe, but in some way it answers to the fears of Europeans at this point, because the numbers are rising of arrivals, and that's the point. But according to European law, according to fundamental European law, that's very, very problematic, and we will see if they will succeed to.
Annalisa Camilli, unfortunately, I have to leave it there. I ran out of time. Thank you for being our guest on Across the Balkans.